Welcome. Let's say if we are building a strategic job application process, right? So I hope you have watched the earlier video and took some stories around your school, your college, your work experience. So you should be at least having 5 different stories now. With that stories, you're going to go for the day 2. Okay. If you're not did that, higher knowledge, very low on implementation, nothing moves. There are lots of videos available in the YouTube. But why people are not able to get success? It's because of not getting action. Okay. So watch that video if you have not, or come back again after you do that activity, and then we'll start this. Building the resume. Building the resume is an art. It's not just putting some random templates, downloading it from online and doing it. There are 4 aspects to it. Objective. First of all, highlight your value proposition in the resume. Whatever is your value proposition, you need to be first clear. Whatever stories you've written, whatever different instances and situations you've written, it will all come through a very good clarity for you now. You should know what is your strength and you should know what is your skill set, and you should be very clear on what you're exactly good at, what you're not good at, how you can able to utilize and leverage those skills. So that clarity will slowly start emerging with you. So once if you're clear with that, now let's go for what have to be done. The basics of resume. I'll explain you very shortly. First of all, 40% of the recruiters takes only less than 1 minute to review your resume. A report by Career Builder shows that. So don't try to make it very complicated. It needs to be very clear, crystal clear, to the point. I'm going to tell you how to make it to the point. So you can have multiple sections, like let's say summary. You can have experience, education, skills, project. You can have a call to action for contact. So these things could be the major sections for it. There is no big magic for this. This is the basic funda, what people require from you. This is what they're going to come back for you, right? Based on your suitability. So how you can make this value proposition very sweet? This is the important part of this video. You need to be very clear on how to align your job requirements in order to get it attracted with the story. I'll explain you in 3 steps. Let's say if they're asking for user interface design skills, if they're asking for wireframing skills, this is a very typical job application, keywords, whatever people ask for in UI UX design. I'm just taking this as an example. He did some VR address application. He was doing some website. He was doing some dashboard design. So that's his project. It could be any project of you. Take down that. Clearly write it down in a paper. Like let's say, this is the projects you did. Second, mock-up. Like let's say they've asked for a skill of mock-up. Think clearly from your stories in your earlier childhood or in your college days or in your work experience, where you've actually did some real-time mock-ups. He said he made some kind of a infrastructure for house. He was very happy in doing that because that was his 8th standard work. His max teacher has given this as an assignment. He started making rectangles, squares, triangles, and he created a house like a structure. He learned how to make pieces come together. He learned how to improve his visualization because using that visualization only he built that house, and then his creativity got increased. This is one aspect. There is another student also who said he built the mobile phone. He built the headphones, earphones using old pieces, which is even exceeding the market quality. This is the 2 aspect which happened real time for these students. Okay. So what do we do with this? Let's say if you wanted to make the value proposition clear, match your skills with the requirement, this is the very first activity. You need to know very clearly what is this skill what you exhibited. Knowingly or unknowingly, you need to think. That's why I asked you to write the stories very clearly. Once that story is there, you will have a much clarity in what to match here. It could have a relevance like this. Because of that activity in my 8th standard work, building the house project using the chart paper work, I started understanding how to make the mock-ups clearly. I started creating some experience. People can look in me as a young creative designer. I created a mock-up and then I showed it. People have appreciated me. People have started liking me. So that interest has really triggered the curiosity and creativity in me. Because of this, I've created a very beautiful application for my project recently. I was tracking back to my earlier childhood, and then I got this understanding, and because of that I did my projects. And because of this, you can see my mock-up, you can see my wireframe, which is the current project, whatever I have, which is VR address, website, dashboard. You can relate it to this because that's the reality. You're not lying or you're not telling anything new. This is the project what he has shared with me. So you can put a small thumbnail in your resume. You can write a story from here, from the start of 8th standard, when I did my chart work. The skill of mock-up has increased in me, and the creativity and visualization was inbuilt in me. Because of that, I did this VR application, I did this website application, I did this dashboard using the skill of building the wireframes. I used a software called Figma or Adobe XD to build it, but this is what it is. Small thumbnail, description of your project. and you are matched exactly with the keywords. So what happens if you do that? People will get to see the relevance and the connection there. You will not be guided just like that. You will not be just randomly putting any keywords. So you will know what is exactly required by the people. And then you are also matching with that. Example, let's say wireframes, creativity, mock-up. You have a lot of skills which is asked by a recruiter, right? Here's the example which I can quote. During my childhood, I started making chart papers at my 8th standard, and I started putting pieces together with a different shape of triangles and rectangles, and that's where my knowledge of building and visualization came in. And in my portfolio, you can find the attachment of these wireframes, which I did in my recent project. A month before, I designed a dashboard. This is the design, this is the wireframe, this is the prototype, this is the individuality, what I shown, because that's my initial project, which I initiated on my own in order to make a big impression. Look how clear it is, how authentic it is, how relevant it is. And you can see in my portfolio, you can put a link over there. If you're sharing a portfolio as a Behance, you can just click that link here. People can be guided to your website, portfolio, Behance, anywhere. Put a thumbnail. So this becomes more relevant. If you're doing creativity, pin that story. Who gave this idea of this chart work? In your story, what is the relevant work? And you did this on your own. By doing this, you exhibited the skill of leadership. You are very punctual. You submitted that work on time. I submitted on time. Stories can be brought from your own incidents only, and that can be blended beautifully with the skill, and then you shorten it up in the resume and put it. Use ChatGPT, use Claude.ai to make it very synchronized statements. Yeah, you need to be very careful. Don't take the stories from ChatGPT. That's not what I'm saying. It's your real authenticity what you're putting. Any skill could be literally mapped to it. Wireframe if they ask, creativity if they ask, mock-up if they ask, individuality, teamwork if they ask, UX design if they ask, research if they ask. Even in UX, you can say the chart work was viewable by anybody. Anybody could view that chart work very clearly and understand. That's the experience I've created. That's the UX I've created. I got appreciation for my neatness. How to create a beautiful presentation for the chart work. My UX design knowledge started popping up from there. And this is the proof of it. And you can see my latest work. Even without a good real-time project, you can use the skill of making it more relevant to the job description. Recently, I've created a website. The option for taking decision is twice faster. That's the exact output for it. This is my case study. This is my portfolio. So look at this relevance, how it is happening, guys. This is how people will see the relativity of your skill matching with the job description. And then your stories, share your journey towards how you implement it. Because this is what is the real thing. It could be a stage speaking, it could be a 10th standard even, it could be running race. Think clearly, what is your skill which is relevant to this UI UX design or a product design which you're relating to. Nothing is irrelevant, guys. The ability for you to relate that is what is the major factor here. Everybody has story, everybody has instances, everybody has enough things to really share with people. Okay? You don't need to do a research analysis to really make this happen. If you are thinking that will happen over time, it will not happen. You have to do it right now. Take the stories, relate it here. If you go to ChatGPT, you can find huge number of job descriptions available for a UI UX and product designer. Take that 5 keywords, take that wireframe, take that mockup, whatever is your relevant skill which you feel, and then you try to map it out with the job description. With these stories, you can pitch for any design studios. This is the activity which I ask the students to do. The same thing I'm giving you here. Take a draft of your stories and create a value proposition relevance to the skill set with your stories. And prepare a draft resume. Can be very simple. Summary, section, and the section should have projects, skills, call to action, your contact. That's it. Your education, your experience. That is your activity for you. Your resume should be applicant tracking system friendly. Big companies like, let's say, Robert Bosch use a strategy to screen hundreds of resumes. A single role, 250 applicants apply average. How do you cut through that noise? It's because of you relevantly using the keywords, relating with your story, making a personal touch of it. Software through the keywords which is relevant for the GD, and they reject the candidates by automated emails. You will not be even notified with HR work. AI is also evolving everywhere. It's not like only you are using ChatGPT. So everybody is trying to use ChatGPT in an even more greater way. Another tip I would say is make it very clean. You don't have to be professional initially. Make it clean, simple. The sections and the headings, and you will get more clarity. There is a student had a very big confusion in making that resume. He got into Accenture. Initially, his resume and keywords was not exactly good. He worked on that, and then he made the perfect keywords which is aligning to his skills, his project, his experience, his relevance, and he doesn't have a UI UX project in his own. I told whatever you did in your UI project earlier, how is your experience matching to it? And then he formed a story, he made a case study, and then he started explaining the process to the HR. He got selected, good salary, close to 10 or 11 LPS. So it will be exactly possible if you relate it to the experience related to your knowledge, skill set, your story, and how you're able to present it clearly and articulate it in the resume. Even when you're called for interview, you will have a much authority to tell this very clearly. We can use STAR method for writing a story. Situation, task, action, result. Whatever your situation could be in your story, what are the tasks you did, what are the action you've taken, and what are the results you got. Use this method to create a lot of stories and then get a feedback from the people. People will give you feedback. Like, let's say, hey, you need to change this. Hey, you need to improve this. So a lot of things can be brought out here, okay? And I'll give you some tips also. You can use this softwares, which will be much easy for you to do it. You can use a software called Resume Worded. So these things will help you make a very clear, concise, keyword resume so that it is throwing all the noise and your application. So the paid version is also there, but use the free version. And first, Resume Worded will give you a lot of experience in building the exact keywords to get the relevance in job market. Okay? I hope this day 2 is very clear for you. If you're not able to build the resume, you'll not be able to go for the day 3, which is even more interesting, which I'll tell you in the next video. Watch out for that, take the action and pin your resume link to this description in this video so that I can able to review that and give you personalized feedback. I take time to read, I review your resume and then I'll give you a feedback. Take care, all the best.